Hey, what's going on guys? Mark back in the workshop on Mark's Aquatics. It's time to feed the koi. Have some food, my little angels. There you go. Really happy to come back and see these guys. All in fantastic condition. No little nasties to come home to, which was brilliant. No trichodina, anything like that. No ick, which is brilliant. I've really been lucky this year. Normally something crops up in your pond at some point in some time throughout the year, and but they've all been really good, really healthy, good diet. Been feeding them the old Saki Hikari balance, and they're really happy when I start feeding them that before we go back to the wheat germ as the cooler months progress. But yeah, they're doing really nicely. Have some more. Now I thought on this little video today we're going to go through, I thought I'd give you a quick little look at the shrimps and the bench tank, what's been going on in there, and obviously the coral room as well. We're going to be popping in there and seeing how those frags that we chopped up a while ago now have been settling down. So I think we'll come away from the pond now and I'll set you up on the shrimps and we'll see how the little shrimps have been doing. Well, everybody seems nice and happy in there. Got a little blue-eyed lemon pleco in there. I think, well, there's two of them, I think, that I put in there just before I went away, just to keep some of the algae down as well and grow them out a bit. And they're looking nice and healthy. I've just put some bug bites in there for them to have a little munch on, so they'll accumulate up the front for you to have a look. Look at that. Beautiful red, those shrimps. Some of the young ones up and coming, a few buried females in amongst them as well, which is nice. I've only just put those bug bites in there, but there seems to be a bit of a pilgrimage now towards the bug bites, and as I speak you'll see more and more of them turn up. Love going away, love going back home. Like I said, I did a couple of videos when I was over there. Not the normal thing that I normally do, but for you who normally follow the channel, you'll know that I normally do a couple of obscure videos while I'm away. Sadly, the tide was really against me on this trip. It tended to be high water in the afternoons, and it was the wrong time of tide for me to get down there and show you some. And the tides weren't that big, to be honest. Normally we get some, try and coincide the trip with a nice spring tide, so we can go down and look at some weird and wonderful creatures under the rocks and places like that. But sadly it all didn't work out this that much this year, so never mind, there's always next year. But we're back in here now. I've got lots of empty tanks which I'm going to start doing things in. Obviously I closed down a lot of the tanks while I was away because and sold off quite a few of the fish and gave quite a few away as well, of the ones we've been breeding over the last couple of months here in the workshop. I think what I'm going to do with this winter, I'm going to keep a couple more tanks in here going. Now I normally close down in the winter because obviously because of electric, and it's expensive to keep all the tanks heated out here during the winter. But I might get a couple of other tanks, or one biggish square tank that I've got, and start a new species of shrimp off. I'm not sure which ones I'm going to go for. Any comments, stick it in the comment section below, which ones you think I should bring along and set up a tank for, or what you'd like to see, and I'll see if we can make it happen. So that's going to be interesting. We're going to be breeding some of those. Some of the higher end shrimp I think I'll get in, and we'll give them a go as well. As you can see, Jackson, his tank has gone absolutely loopy since I've been away. Huge amount of plant growth, and a nice big cobweb there under the light. A little spider's decided he's going to take up home there, and I think I'll leave him alone, but I'm going to have to trim things up first over the next couple of days and get round to sorting everything out, which has been really neglected for the last 2 weeks I've been away. But everyone's healthy and fit. Nobody's died or anything horrible like that, which is good. Yep, that dwarf sage has gone mad on the bottom, and that swasatang as well, which is in between it, has gone absolutely crazy. So I'm going to have to get in there with my scissors and trim everything up in there, make that look all nice for him, give that a water change. and feed him away. Now it's perfect in here for him because of the pond, which is there. I get lots and lots of little black fly larvae, and they're forever going into his little tank, and he takes them off the surface, so he gets lots and lots of fresh food. So I didn't have to feed him at all, which is brilliant. Right, let's have a look at the bench tank. Well, there you go, guys. There's the bench tank. I've got the king plecos in there. Now, what I'm going to be doing, I'm going to be selling these king plecos off. I've got more plans, and I'd like them to go to somewhere else. Obviously, someone's going to have to prove they can look after them and everything else, but I'm going to be selling these off. So if you're interested in these and you're from the UK, you can hit me up in Messenger on my Facebook account on Facebook. Message me there, or you can drop a message in the comment section below saying you're interested or whatever, and let me know if you think, if you're in the UK. Obviously, I'm not going to be posting these guys because they're going to come with the pot, so everything you see there is going to be going with them. So that's their home, so they'll go with them. Now, the tank that they were in cracked. That's the reason why I had to put them in this tank, but it's far too small for them at the moment, and I've got other things at the moment that I want to concentrate on. And they're a lovely breeding pair. They do breed like crazy, and I've sold off quite a few of these little guys over time, so it's going to be something, a nice little hobby for someone to take on, and a nice little breeding colony ready to rock and roll. In fact, there could be eggs in that pot there now, I'm not sure, but so yeah, let me know if you're interested in purchasing these guys. There's another one down there, there's another 2 there, there's 9 in total. Obviously, one of the bristlenose plecos up there has taken that pot, and they're a little bit moved around at the moment, but yeah, this tank and the filtration's not man enough for the job. So with all these diamond tetras as well, which I'm going to give these away to somebody that I know who's got a load of tanks, and he's going to bring some of these on. There must be 50 or 60 of these guys in there that we bred a while back. So I'm going to thin this tank out, and I'm going to completely rescape it, and we're going to do a few changes around in here, I think, which is going to be good fun. The other little plecos decided to show up now on the log in the back there. But some of these shrimp are absolutely beautiful, Red. Look at those. Right, I think what we should do now is go into the coral room, and we can see what has been going on in there, and looking at some of these coral frags and see how they've been growing and see how they've been getting on. Aha, we're in the coral room, guys. Right then, let's have a look at some of these corals. First of all, we're going to look at this tank here, which has only got my little bristle tooth tang in there. I've put another piece of live rock up there, which has got lots of little tube worms and stuff in amongst it, if you can see there. And a couple of naughty Aptasia as well, which is coming on the rock. I don't know if you can see them underneath there, hiding away. There's another one down there. I'll have to get rid of those because they do multiply quite quickly when they get going. So you've got to watch those. A lovely little pair of Discoma there. Some little furry mushrooms, which are absolutely stunning. They're growing quite nicely now. And that lovely big piece of rock which we've got in there, which is starting to mature up lovely now. If you can look on the side there, you might see lots of little white little fishing rods coming out all over the side of the rocks there. That's some little tiny creatures that are living in amongst the rock, which have come in on the rock. There's some more up there actually blowing around in the current on the top there. Now they're collecting little particles out of the water, and then they'll pull that little fishing rod back in, take the food off of it, and then cast their little lines out again, which is interesting stuff. I love to see those, and that's one of the amazing thing about a marine tank, is that it's always evolving, and especially when you're bringing in live rock, because you never know what's on it. Sometimes it's going to be a nasty if you're buying rock straight from Fiji and different places all over the world from your local retailers. You might end up with a mantis shrimp, you could end up with pistol shrimps, which are deep in amongst the rock when they ship it. So you could end up with all sorts, really. So it's a bit of a hit and miss, but sometimes you get some real super little surprises pop out when you've got your torch out at night, if you're anything like me, and you're poking in amongst it with your torch, and suddenly you'll see something slide out. Could be a little nudibranch or something along those lines, which is a little sea slug. And it can just pop out of the rock and you think, wow, I never knew I had him on there. But they can be beneficial, but sometimes they may not be as beneficial as you think, because they will eat hard corals. Different types of nudibranchs will eat montes and stuff like that. So you've got to be very, very careful of that. And we'll get into all that kind of stuff as we go along. So as this room progresses. But let's have a look at these Australian corals now and see how they've been getting on. Yes, they really have done extremely well. They're starting to encase the rock now, and the frag plugs underneath. If you can see this one here, you can see the way it's slimed out at the bottom, and that carbonate calcium base, which is what they're made from, is starting to slowly creep out over that frag plug. And I've got a couple in here now that have gone really mad, and they've nearly covered the frag plugs entirely now. So very, very healthy. Everyone's doing extremely well. Look at those beautiful colours there. And I think I've lost maybe 2 out of, well, I've got a lot of coral in here, and you can see some of the corals are absolutely stunning colours. And the great thing about Acropora is that it can change colour in your systems as well. So if you look in the shop, sometimes you might see one that looks quite brown and washed out. It can be for a couple of reasons. It can be either not enough light, it can be too much light, it could be high nutrients in the tank where they're kept. So sometimes it's good to take a little punt on those and buy them, because they'll sell them cheaper because they don't look very good. But when you put them into your systems and you've got your level set lovely, you end up with something like the one at the back there, which has got some absolutely stunning, the cameras don't really do them justice, but some stunning colour, yellow, neon yellow tips when they start to grow. And they can change colours dramatically, Acropora, they really can. But these ones are doing extremely nicely. Very happy the way they've turned out. I'll try and find you the other one, which is really, really slimed out at the base. There you go, there he is, and you can see that now for when we plugged it. It's only 2 or 3 weeks ago, maybe a month ago, where I glued these on, as you saw me glue them on with that Max Spec glue gun onto these plugs, which they do as well. And that has completely nearly covered the top of that disc, and it's starting to creep over the edge now, which is brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And this one as well, that one's also doing nicely. And you can see on this big piece here where I actually fragged it off. You remember when I fragged them on the saw? Now you can see that the way I've made those big cuts right the way across there and straight the way down on the face of that one there as well. And now they're starting to grow again and calcify again over the top of that, and they'll completely grow over there again and create a new colony, which you can then frag again in the future. That's another piece there where I took a load of frags off. You wouldn't have noticed that now because they've all healed. More polyps have grown on the top, and they're starting to resemble the way they came again, with all these little nice little growing tips all over them. So you can see that one here I've just placed in there, and it's actually starting to grow onto the frag rack itself. So I put that there just before I left. So what I thought I'd do is put that on, I might do that this afternoon, put that on a frag plug and set that one up as well. But we've got some amazing colours in here, we really have. And that's how many we got, guys, all the way through there. Look at that. And then when they get bigger, we can refrag and we can do them again. The reason why this one is blue at the moment, I've just lowered the light down because it shows them up nicer. And what I've also added is a phosphate reactor as well on the bottom there. Now that's sucking up the water from, let me grab my little stool. That is sucking up water there from that pump, and it's blowing it through there. It's going through the bottom and it's tumbling away through that media in there, that phosphate media, which is GFO. And then it blows it back down here into that little system at the back there where the 2 return pumps are, you see. So it's taking everything, all the phosphate, anything in it. This is a very low phosphate tank anyway. System, obviously I've only got 2 fish in there. I've got a little who's still a bit spooky, but he's got a good job in there, and he'll pick off all those little bits of algae and different things in the tank and keep it nice and clean. With these sort of rooms I tend to only use things that'll do a job, like the turbo snails up there. I've got to get some more turbo snails, or some little turbinarias, little turbine snails, which do a fantastic job of clearing up all the algae and different things that which appear in your tank. The old Max Spec pumps are doing really well, circulating that water. Look at that, there's a right torrent going through there, and we got that one the other end as well. But now you can see some of the blues in the corals at the back. I've got a little filter on this camera now, so what I'll do is I'll take it off and you'll see the difference. That's what it's like normally. It's very, very blue, because I like the blue tinge it gives. But then you can put this polarizer back on and you'll get a little bit more colour. Look at that, a mini barrier reef, fantastic stuff. There you go guys, there's an interesting little bit. Now you see the little mound right in the middle of the screen there underneath the mushrooms. Now you can see there's a little tube worm there who lives just behind that mushroom there, and you can see him. What he's doing is he's casting out these little filaments, if you can see, which are sticking onto the gravel. And if you notice, it's all pretty clean around where he lives. It's because he's drawing up those little pieces of gravel there, look, in those little strings, and he's taking them up and he's actually building a little house with them. You can see the little tube just to the right hand side there, and it's just like a caddisfly, which we get in the river systems here as well. They'll pick up little bits of grit and different things, and they'll adhere them to their backs, and they'll use it as a little hideaway from predators. And that's exactly what this little guy's doing here, because I've moved this stone from one side to this side to give it a little bit more light, and I've upset him. So what he's doing now, as you can see, this is all this. You can see the little pile that he's got there. They're the ones that he's dropped, but he's picking up the other ones, and he's creating himself a new little home. Look at that. I've got a little bristletooth tang in here as well, and he's quite shy still, because I don't spend a lot of time in this room. It's not like they're in your living room and they get used to you. So and obviously he's in here to do a job, which I don't feed them that much, to be honest. I let him do it what nature intended him to do, and that's graze off of these rocks and take the algae off. And I supplement feed him now and again with some nori and stuff like that, but he keeps popping out from behind here, which makes me laugh. I'll just hold it there if you're patient, and you might see him. He keeps coming and checking to see if I'm here or I've moved off, and I find that funny, I do. Where are you? Hello. Oh, that makes me laugh. He just pops his little head out, sees me, I'm going back. Ah, brilliant stuff. Anyway guys, this little room is coming on in leaps and bounds. Really happy the way it's going so far. I'm going to be building, well, I've actually started building a new bank of tanks, and I'll show you those. But until next time, as always, love you loads, take care, and we'll see you on another edition of Mark's Aquatics. Bye for now.
Just me and my guitar.